Hello Captains, it's me, Tonic TZW, here in the Tier 7 American Destroyer, the Black. Recorded this early morning, but I've got to get to work after this one's been done, so I'll rattle through it. This one's called It's Okay to Run, just remember to turn back, so don't just keep running for the white line. My mum doesn't like the number on that ship. I told her it's not my choice, that's how it is. And on this one I do run a little bit of extra AA, and I'm running mod off with Bay and Swirsky, so concealment with gun reload. I mess around with my builds every now and then and see how they fare. Luckily I had AA on, and this was a carrier match, but it doesn't mean that the AA is going to be awesome, but it will do a little bit for me. Now we're across here on CCAP, and obviously the first thing that we do is we repeat the mantra of every destroyer player in the game, or at least it should be, of spot, capture and kill. So the first thing we're going to do is move forward, and we're going to try and spot the red team ships, and because we have these superb long range torpedoes and we know generally where the ships head to in this game, we're going to put them out there and see if we can come up trumps, fishing a little bit with those torpedoes, hoping that we might get lucky. We're using the island to screen us because there is a carrier in the match, and what we don't want to have happen is to be caught in open water early game by a carrier and have every ship shoot at us and kill us, because there is an Atlanta out there, there is a Bismarck out there, and guess what? They're both on my cap, as well as a Summers. Bit of a spoiler alert there. But Summers, 3 sets of 4 torpedoes, is it? Here comes the carrier. He's got bombers. There's a Bismarck out there tracking across to the side quite fast. Thing to be aware of with the Bismarck is secondaries. People running secondary builds on the Bismarck with, is it Ciliax and Haruna? They can bump those secondaries out to 11.5, 12 kilometers, depending on what level they've got this ship on. Now I'm trying to stay undetected by these carrier planes at the moment, but it's obvious that the destroyer has moved onto the capture point. So we are going to try and push in and contest this point, because as I often say, if you can't take the cap yourself, at least try to prevent red team from taking it. So we're being very, very cautious. Now what I will say is that I burn my radar and get onto that Summers, because all we want to do is get some resets on him and stop him from taking the cap. Let him know that there is a destroyer out here and try to force him into popping his smoke screen. I've no doubt that the fact that he's sailing broadside there, that he is going to put torpedoes through my smoke screen. The planes overhead have picked those up, and so we're going to try and angle and make ourselves as skinny as possible to those torpedoes. There is the Atlanta. He is just outside of his radar range. I think it's 9 kilometers on the Atlanta, but he does have very rapid firing guns and he can decimate me. He's also got very good AA, but it's good to see that our carrier is having a crack at him. Now my torpedoes have come back on reload, so I'm going to push in and contest this cap. The Bismarck can't see me at this stage in time, but there are more planes coming in across the top. So now we've got risky business going on. Widespread the torpedoes through the smoke screen because we are contested. It is obvious that that destroyer is still in there, and we're trying to use that island just off there to our right hand side to screen us from any fire from the Atlanta, but we are at risk of secondaries from the Bismarck. We're allowing those torpedoes to run. What we're doing is we're sitting here with an escape route off our bow, because if they don't hit that destroyer, then we might want to run in and gun him down. But if they do hit the destroyer, we want to be able to turn around and take that capture point. Lo and behold, he eats a torpedo. It's not a death strike because he had damage done to him previously. There's some torpedoes coming in. We're going to 180 it. I want to get in that cap, but there is the radar from the Atlanta. He is the one in cap now, so we are going to make ourselves skinny again. The Bismarck secondaries are going to pop on us, and while we're lit up on radar, we may as well put some fire out there. We get a reset, we get a fire on the Bismarck. We're going to dip behind this island. No doubt we're going to take a few more hits until such time as that radar runs out. But there we go. We have dropped detection. So a little bit of smart play there, using the terrain around us to drop detection. And at the same time, we've managed to get that cap reset, and we're going to put the torpedoes through here. We're looking at what's going on with that KGV, thinking, can we get torpedoes out there? Yes, we can. What's going to happen to him? The answer to that question is he's going to get absolutely deleted by that Colorado, which was an amazing shot. And the Colorado, unfortunately, is very, very low health, because we seem to be across here on our own. I missed my torpedoes on the Bismarck, and I know that that Atlanta is probably going to want to hunt me down. I can't see him, so he's behind the island. Is he going left? Is he going right? I don't know. So what I'm going to do is open up some distance. So yes, I am going to run away. I can't contest that cap because it's been taken by red team. So what I need to do is have the Bismarck and the Atlanta out of the way so that I can go in and take that cap. I am very much on my own on this side of the map. We've got the Atlanta spotted. He is coming out towards us. The carrier, thankfully, is still focusing on this side of the map with the Bismarck. We have taken a cap on the other side, and all I want to do is be at least 9 kilometers from this Atlanta. Now, all I'm doing here is we're kiting this ship. We are keeping them engaged and preventing them from making the decision to move elsewhere on the map. They know there's a destroyer here. The Atlanta is obviously screening the Bismarck, and I'm looking around to see, is there any support for me if I do get caught out around here? The answer is no. There's only the carrier. So we're going to put some torpedoes out here again, see if we can catch this Atlanta unawares. We do a narrow spread, and then expecting him to be twisting and turning, we put a wide spread out there as well. We do need a little bit more distance to this Atlanta, and I hate to be coming this far away from a capture point because it takes so long to get back in there. We don't have an engine boost available, but the torpedoes are running and we're feeling a little bit safer. At this kind of range, the Atlanta shells very floaty, put my teeth in straight, and although he's got the rapid reload, we have the maneuverability and we can potentially avoid the majority of any fire that is coming out towards us. There's his radar again. He's going to have to turn to get his guns on us. We are just going to dip out of radar range. He gets a salvo off. He's seen the torpedoes, and this is the crazy thing. He has obviously spotted those torpedoes, and they're still running. They're very slow. They are very hard hitting, but he has had those spotted now, and that Bismarck, and this is why you should never sail in a straight line, that Bismarck is, what, 13 kilometers away from me? The Atlanta has spotted the torpedoes. They're still running, and that guy is actually going to catch 2. So how on earth he didn't manage to avoid those, I don't know. So what I'm thinking of doing is pushing in here to get this cap reset. Bismarck takes 2, double flood, cap reset, that's good for me. Can I get in range of guns? Bismarck takes another one, that's a triple flood, another cap reset, and he is going to tick down with those floods and disappear from the game. Carrier gets hits on the Atlanta, and I decide that I will pop a couple of shots out towards that Atlanta, see if I can land a cap reset, but the Georgia finishes him as well. So that is the problem taken care of on this side of the map. It is 3v3. We have a slight lead. That lead could change on one ship making a difference. What is going to make a difference in this game is getting back onto the capture points, and it is a long run. I'm pinging the map to tell the team where the closest ship to me is, as I'm pushing back in towards Charlie. My concern is that I am out here on my own and they are potentially going to come and try and find me. Carrier planes coming in overhead again. That's not good. Are we going to get focused here? Potentially. We are potentially going to get focused, but we need to get back onto this capture point, so we're going to have to try and run straight and true. Our carrier does a brilliant job because he brings in fighter planes above me, so that is a great help. Somebody keeping the eye on the map there, understanding what's going on, bringing in the support where it's needed, and it is very, very much appreciated. Red team carrier misses his bomb drop, but now we've got to play this cap for another 40 seconds before we can turn it. We can see those shots coming in over the top. Don't know if it's the cruiser or if it's the destroyer, but looking at the minimap now, there we go, it's the Megami shooting at me because their destroyer is very obviously on A cap, which makes turning this cap that bit more important. Now if they're going to turn A, they're going to push round to the north side of the minimap. I have no doubt about it. But we are running a little bit too fast, and we're going to have to slow down and sit here on this cap and hope that planes don't come over us again. We do have a smoke screen available, but we don't really want to burn through it at this stage of the game because the game is not yet won. That margin of points is very, very small. That is the cap taken. We're now going to push round to the next closest target, which is Delta Cap. And the quicker we can get onto there, the quicker we can mitigate the damage that is being done to us by Red Team having taken A cap. With 2 caps, you're just ticking up equal points. With 3, you're still pulling a small advantage back towards your team. That Megami is a long way away, so all I need to do is make sure that I can get onto this capture point, avoid shots from the Megami, and at the same time keep an eye out for the destroyer. But I think like many destroyers in this game, they get hungry for carrier kill or they get hungry for damage. They lose focus of what is going on around them, and it costs team games. So I'm here. Oh look, there's a carrier. He's coming towards us. That's good. So let's put some torpedoes out there. Now, the thing is, firing torpedoes in a carrier match, if any planes go over them, they get them spotted. And a ship has much longer to react. So that's always something to consider in a carrier match. If you're targeting a ship and there's planes around, chances are that that ship is going to have those torpedoes spotted by the carrier planes, and he's going to have a lot longer to react to them. And that's exactly what this Saipan does. But 14 seconds to take this cap. I can see where both the red team ships are. I've got this guy on radar. We're going to try and start a fire on him. There we go, because that will be automatically damage controlled. And then if we get another fire on him or another flood, that is going to be a stick and tick. Oh dear, look at this. Torpedo drop straight above me. Not what I wanted to see. Radar runs out, but we have the capture point now. So that is 3 caps to 1. At this point, what's going through my head is I've got less than 30 seconds for my torpedoes to reload. I'm being run down by a carrier. He's going to be close. I switch to armor piercing. I'm thinking ahead about what my next move is going to be. We want to get in a position. We want to have the torpedoes available at the point that we break out of this smoke. Having armor piercing loaded, because there's a chance we could punch some holes in the broadside of the carrier. But let's have a look and see what goes on here. So there we go, broadside. What's that? Barely a tickle. And I'm not going to learn my mistake here, because I'm going to put a couple more salvos of AP into him, even though he's angled, and you can actually see these ones bounce off and go zinging into the sea. So we switch back to high explosive. The torpedoes are running good, and 1, 2, 3, 4 torpedoes, 4 floods, but that is a dev strike. That gives us the lead again, because red team did momentarily pull it back to their advantage, but with the clock ticking down, there's very little that red team can do to win this game now. Even if our carrier dies, we've got that one in the bag. 118,000 damage, 3 kills, 2 solo caps, 10 cap resets, and there's a lot of XP in those. As you can see, we finish on 3,284 base XP, which is what, nearly 1,300 above second place. So there's a little bit of lesson in saying that, yeah, it is okay to run at times, but you should always consider what you're doing and always be ready to turn back and bring the win back to your team. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Don't forget to smash the like button, leave me a comment, subscribe if you haven't, tip if you're feeling rich, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.